the night the snow turned cold. In the heart of Stockholm, where the Baltic breeze carries the scent of salt and pine, lived a man named Olof. He was a leader who walked among his people without walls or shields. On a chilly Friday in February 1986, he and his wife, Lisbeth, decided to spend an ordinary evening together. They chose a movie at the Grand Cinema, looking forward to a few hours of simple stories and shared laughter. The air was crisp, and the city was draped in a thin blanket of white. Olof and Lisbeth walked down the sidewalk, their boots crunching softly on the fresh snow. They didn't want the fuss of drivers or guards. They wanted to feel the pulse of the city they loved. To them, the streets were a home, and the people were neighbors. At the cinema, the marquee lights hummed with a golden glow. A young man named Stellan stood at the entrance, tearing tickets and greeting the evening crowd. When he saw Olof, he gave a respectful nod. Olof returned the gesture with a warm grin, just one more citizen waiting for the lights to dim and the film to begin. The movie was a comedy, and for 2 hours, the weight of the world felt lighter. When the credits rolled and the lights came up, Olof and Lisbeth stepped back out into the freezing night. The city felt quiet now, the Friday night revelry hushed by the deepening cold. They decided to walk toward the metro station, enjoying the stillness of the midnight hour. They reached the corner of Sveavägen and Tunnelgatan. The wind whipped around the tall buildings, biting at their cheeks. Olof adjusted his scarf, glancing toward the dark mouth of the alleyway nearby. It was a spot where the shadows seemed to stretch longer, and the street lamps felt just a little too far apart. From the darkness of the alley, a figure emerged. He moved like a ghost, silent and swift. He was a man whose face remained hidden in the gloom, a silhouette against the brick and stone. He approached the couple from behind, his footsteps swallowed by the sound of the wind and the distant hum of a passing car. In a single, shattering moment, the peace of the night was broken. A sharp sound echoed through the canyon of the street, louder than any city noise. Olof stumbled, the strength leaving his legs as he collapsed onto the frozen pavement. The world seemed to stop spinning, the silence that followed heavier than the snow. Lisbeth cried out for help, her voice piercing the cold air. Stellan, who had been walking home from his shift, heard the commotion and ran toward the corner. He found a scene of chaos and sorrow. He knelt beside the woman, trying to offer comfort while scanning the surroundings for the person who had brought such darkness to their street. The man in the shadows did not stay. He turned and ran toward the steep stairs of Lundmakargatan, disappearing into the labyrinth of the city heights. Despite the efforts of the people who rushed to the scene, the stranger vanished into the night, leaving behind a mystery that would haunt the nation for decades to come. The next morning, the spot on the sidewalk was covered in red roses instead of snow. A young girl named Elin stood with Lisbeth, placing a flower on the ground. Olof was gone, but his dream of a world without walls remained. The mystery of that night lived on, but so did the memory of a leader who chose to walk among his people, heart open to the city.